Good evening, my friends, or good day to you wherever you are in the world. Today is 12/17/2021, and this is Odin Project Vlog Day 20. Can you guys believe it? We have got through 20 days, almost consecutively, without stopping. I'm very impressed with where this is heading so far and the progress that I've made. With that said, alignment was this was an understated um, module. I told you guys yesterday that we would be getting to the text editor today and going through those challenges, and I accidentally didn't tell the truth. Alignment was a meaty beast. As you can see here, the text wasn't bad. Actually, the text is pretty short, but the assignments, these are insanely detailed. I only got through the first two, in between reading this text I just read here, or just sped through here, and getting through the first two assignments, took basically 2 hours. It's trying to reiterate the new content, understanding alignment, going over Flexbox again, going over justifying and all the stuff that goes into Flexbox. And I probably only know, probably 25% of what I really need to know. So I slowed down and took my time through this, as you guys should too if you're following along. I will, however, read this verbatim. I know it might be a little boring. Just reading this main page here, because it's not very long, and then I'll briefly go over the first two assignment articles because they are in depth. It's very good content. I think you guys will enjoy it if you haven't done it yet, and very challenging, at least for me anyway, because Flexbox, like I said, I only know about 20% of probably what I really need to know, and of that 20% that I knew before taking this new course, I knew a whole lot less than what I actually thought I did. So anyway, so for alignment, sorry, I got Tourette's, so sometimes I got to get a tick in here or there, guys. So just bear with me through all that and the sniffling and everything, and I appreciate all the love and support you've given me so far. So here we go. So far, everything we've touched on with Flexbox has used the rule flex 1 on all flex items, which makes the items grow or shrink equally to fill all of the available space. Very often, however, this is not the desired effect. Flex is also very useful for arranging items that have specific size. And they go through an example here of, again, this integrated code pen. It's showing the display flex and the container size and padding, the background, the border, and then the item, which is the flex items inside. They got width, height, and a border and a background. Just giving you the shell of it. You should be able to predict what happens if you put flex 1 on the class item by now. Give it a shot before we move on. I won't do all these, but I'll just do this one just because I read it just now. So change put flex 1 in there. Why am I losing my mind here? Inside item. Okay. Am I missing something here? Oh. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Why is this? If you put flex 1 on the item, yeah. Why did that not do anything? Oh, there it goes. It did it. I'm sorry. Wow, it's been a long day. I shifted it. Okay. Adding flex 1 to items makes each of the items grow to fill the available space, but what if we wanted them to stay the same width? but distribute themselves differently inside the container, we can still do this. And this just goes through remove flex1 from item and add justify content space dash between to the parent container class. Doing so should give you something like this. Justify content aligns items across the main axes. There are a few values that you can use here. You'll learn the rest of them in the reading assignments, but for now just try changing it to center, which should center the boxes along the main axis. Yeah, I can't do these because we won't get through the material. To change the placement of items along the cross axes, use align items. Try getting the boxes to the center of the container by adding align item center to container class. The desired result will look like this. So that's what it'll look like when you do it. Because justify content and align items are based on the main and cross axes of your container, their behavior changes when you change the flex direction of the flex container. Most common behavior is default justify content aligns items horizontally because the main axis defaults to horizontal, and align items aligns them vertically. One of the biggest sticking points that beginners have with Flexbox is confusion of when this behavior changes, and I can see why, for sure. Gap. One more very useful feature of Flex is the gap property. Setting gap on a Flex container simply adds a specific space between Flex items, very similar to adding a margin to the item themselves. Gap is a very new property, so it won't show up in very many resources yet, but it works reliably on all modern web browsers, so it is safe to use and is very handy. Adding a gap of 8 pixels to the centered example above produces the result below. There you go. There's more for you to learn in the reading below, but at this point you can surely see how immensely useful Flexbox is. Using just the properties we've already covered, you could already put together some impressive layouts. Take your time going through the reading. There will be some review of the items we've already covered here, but it goes into more depth and touches on a few things that haven't been mentioned yet. Don't stress too much about trying to memorize every little detail. And there's a lot. Just code along with the examples and do your best to internalize everything that is possible with Flexbox. You'll have to reach for these resources again once you get to the practice exercises. But that's perfectly acceptable. The more you use this stuff, the better it will stick in your mind, and you'll be using it constantly. Have fun. And that's what I want to get across tonight too. Is I don't feel confident with Flexbox. I don't really understand it to the level that I want to. I don't have any, but I have basically zero experience and exposure to it. So just like it said, the practice makes perfect. Practice gets better, and so I'm not gonna sit here and beat myself up mentally just because I read through a couple assignments and I don't understand it yet is not a bad thing, because I'm more of a doer and a visual guy anyway. So I learn best when I'm in the code, when in the text editor, actually basically fixing and breaking things. That's actually where I learn most, and that's also why in those couple lessons ago I told you guys I was proud of myself because I didn't cheat and didn't give up when the going got tough, because that's how I grow, and that's how you will grow too along this journey with me. So I'm going to briefly touch on these. We are not going to spend, it's already 8 minutes into the video, 9 minutes, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time in these because they are beefy. It's all real good stuff, and I highly encourage you to read it on your own. So this goes back to the basics of Flexbox. So there is encouragement in repetition, I will say that. So honestly, it kind of, I don't remember which one comes first. I think it doesn't matter. Anyway, I think it's this one. Yeah, so you go back to basics here and start talking about the axes, which we've covered before. Already covered a little bit yesterday. Start and end lines. It gives you graphics, which I like. You know, there's some Arabic or Hebrew showing it how to do a row and how it looks from left to right on languages that are written in red, right to left, excuse me. not left to right. And it talks about the flex container we've already talked about. Display items that are inside of it. It gives you a ton of exercise. This is what takes the longest, is going through these exercises. And I actually did. These are all, as you can see, these are all Mozilla learning lessons, but they're really good because you can actually type inside of the. It's kind of like CodePen basically, but it's what Mozilla uses, and you can actually manipulate these boxes when you put in the. I put in junk there, but I'm just giving an example. Like you can really spend a lot of time in here, and you should. And there's a little reset button to start over if you get stuck or you want to start over. So like they're saying, you use this like flex wrap and see how it changes and that sort of thing. So it's really helpful to see that, to reinforce what you're learning. There's changing flex direction. This is where you do like. You could do like, instead of row reverse, you could do column reverse, which flips it. So now you're going, instead of horizontal, you're going vertical. And this is your direction. So reverse means you're going opposite, as you see, 1, 2, 3 up instead of 3, 2, 1. Instead of 1, 2, 3 down. If you get rid of this reverse, there you go, 1, 2, 3 down. So there's that, and it goes into multi-line flex containers with flex wrap. You can wrap text. You can do no wrap. If you do that, it'll take the wrap off, and it will fill the the box. The items inside of it will fill the entire flex items. Will fill the entire container. Flex flow shorthand. It goes in and starts talking about what we've already talked about several times in the previous videos. Yeah, it's kind of repetitive. It's good stuff though, because you really need to know the shorthand and the longhand and how that works. They're telling you to change flex direction to from row to row reverse, column to column reverse, and turning on and off wrap. So like, I've been through all these, so I'm familiar with them. I remember them. So that's taking off wrap, and here's if you're in row and you want to reverse your row to go backwards. You can do that. There's all kinds of different things you can do. Again, I'm abbreviating all this, but properties apply with flex items. You have, as we already discussed, you have flex grow, flex shrink, flex bases, which they put these out of order. So I try to memorize. I shouldn't say memorize, but lack of a better term, memorize these in the order that they are typed out. So actually, it will be. No, that's correct, isn't it? Yeah. Flex grow, flex shrink. I thought it was backwards when I read it the first time. Okay. No, it's right. So that's that, and then this talks about shrinking, and growing. Flex bases talks about we've already been through all this, but it just goes into more detail. Shorthanding the values for the flex properties, and then it talks about the different values that you can put for flex. You can do, I think the default, default is, initial is, you could do flex initial, flex basis is auto. I don't remember if there is a default for that. Anyway, you can read about all that. Alignment, justification. So it starts talking about aligning items. This is where I got a little confused because it gets really confusing when you're talking about align items and then justifying items, because they talk about both the row and the column, which when you go to column it inverts it, so it can get very convoluted. So there's your now it talks about justifying content. So basically, a normal row style, Your align will do will basically stretch it out like horizontally, and then justify will justify it in the left or right side. So like if you, it's like this one's flex justify content flex start. So that means the flex start is here on the left side since you're in a row mode. If you do flex end, it will, if I could type, it will flip it the other side, but not reverse the order because you're telling it to just justify the flex items. So that's why it doesn't flip, because you're not doing anything but just justifying the content, just flipping it or just moving it to one side or the other. And there's that. And then the next one goes into aligning items of the flex container. Again, it starts talking about the axes. Here's how you justify your content, and then here's how you align. This is all within your normal mode, like I call it normal mode, but row mode. And then it flips when you do column mode. Properties that control alignment. You have justify content, alignment items, and they have hyperlinks for all this stuff. But and then it goes into the cross axes and talks about aligning items again, flex direction. It tells you if you give it a height of 200 pixels, it's going to stretch to meet that fill that need in that void when you use align items. And if you do align self, you can actually align just one item. Like you could say align self in this child flex item, and it will only align that one. So you can only manipulate that one, which is kind of a nice benefit to do. And it goes through some exercises doing that and stretching, and then it goes into, there's your align self, so it talks about how to do that. So like align self stretch, there's different modes. So you could do, this is on first child, so you could do center, and then it moves it down to center, and see how it only shifted that one single flex item. Keep wanting to say flex container, that's not correct. So trying to use the right terminology today, folks. So changing the main axes, this is talking about you can flip it by changing flex direction to column instead of row. And sorry, I'm just kind of zipping through this because I'm running out of time here, but you get the point. It just goes on and on. As you can see, it's a lot. It's good stuff, but it's a lot of practice. But again, you're not gonna, most people, I don't think, going through this once like me, I don't think you're gonna lick it in one setting. You're gonna have to sit down and struggle with it and kind of figure it out on your own, because there is a lot to it. There is a lot to it. There's no doubt about it. So that's pretty much going to wrap that up. I will say tomorrow is Saturday, 12/18/2021. I am having my side's family Christmas, so I will be out of town all day, so there will be no studying and no video upload for tomorrow. I do fully anticipate to be back in the saddle on Sunday, 12/19, for another video study and upload for you guys. So sorry this one went a little long in the text today, and I'm sorry I zipped through kind of the end, but I didn't want to make this super long. We're at 19 minutes now, so I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm glad you guys came along the journey with me tonight. I hope you learned something along the way here, and please like, share, and subscribe my content, and share it with others so that other people can learn how to code too if they want to, or just find education out of this content. So until next time, see ya.